Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Captain Foley, and we have an awesome installment for you all to enjoy today.
Yes, that is right, guys. Great to be back with you all, and you too, Captain.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. As you must all know by now, I'm Commander Cockins. We have a fan-designed ship for you today. A really good one, too.
That's right, and it's a fan-sponsored Trekyards Originals as well. And although the designer chose not to join us for the episode, he did provide a lot, and I mean a lot of material on the ship. And he trusts us to do her justice.
Thanks so much. And yeah, this is a cool ship too. It's a multi-vector Dreadnought called the Theurgy class. And as you guys know, I love Prometheus, and this was partly inspired by that, as was another ship from Star Trek Online. I think that's pretty obvious which ship. So a nice little melding here.
Yeah. The designer Octor Lucan had said this about the inspiration for the design, and I quote, "The Theurgy class design, which is a multi-vector dreadnought, can split into 3 ships, just like a Prometheus class. The ship was designed by myself, Octor, and I did it in appreciation of Adam Eel's design for the Odyssey class as seen in Star Trek Online. The intent was that the ship would be contemporary with the Odyssey class, only commissioned a few years later, and with the multi-vector assault mode capabilities." End quote.
The ship was purpose-built for exploration, diplomacy, and deterrence. So a true Federation starship, having a very good handle on all aspects of what makes a perfect Federation cruiser. Big words here, Stuart. I hope the script lives up to the awesomeness of that sentence. I think it will. The original ship's commission date was October 9th, 2378, but upon speaking to Octor to jive with the Stowe continuity and the commission date with the Odyssey in 2409, we will say the actual launch date of this ship is 2412. But please keep in mind, when we do the other dates in this episode, they're all from the original source research material provided to us. This ship was one of the most advanced Starfleet vessels ever constructed, meeting the pinnacle of starship design standards. Its mission was to carry the Federation to a new generation, not the next generation of exploration for a new century.
That sounds like the name of a new show, Star Trek The New Generation.
The new next. Well, they have a new generation.
There you go. Constructed at the Antares and Utopia Planitia fleet shipyards, the ship measured in at 1,145 meters in length, 200 meters high, and 375 meters wide. With 32 decks, it had a total mass of 5,109,700 metric tons in standard operational mode, which means all assembled.
Okay.
The very first of the class, the experimental prototype Theurgy NX79855, had the dedication of "Courage is fear when it has said its prayers." As of January 2281, another 6 of the class had been commissioned, with 3 in pre-production, those being the USS Prophecy, NCC 79855, the USS Henosis, NCC 79856, and the USS Augury, NCC 79857, with 3 more in the planned production stages: the USS Monad, NCC 79858, USS Presage, NCC 79859, and lastly, the USS Legerdemain, NCC 79860. Officially, both the Odyssey class and the Theurgy class were rushed into production because of the Romulan Civil War. Unofficially, however, there are those that believe Starfleet Command pushed the production ahead of schedule for the sake of their own agenda. A la Section 31, maybe. Seems kind of...
Beard stroke. Total crew complement was 980 personnel, with that being broken down into 110 officers, an enlisted crew of 760, and the ability to ferry 50 passengers in total comfort. Various sized escape pods allowed for the organised evacuation of the crew in different scenarios. The larger escape pods could be launched with any passengers or non-essential personnel, with the small ones being reserved for the command staff and senior officers as a last resort should the ship be catastrophically damaged in combat or by some other means.
Designed to operate far from a starbase, or any Starfleet facility for that matter, the ship had expanded science laboratories and ample room for both passengers and cargo. It was a highly capable rescue and evacuation ship designed to stay on task performing evacuations while still being able to hold aggressors at bay with its unique multi-vector configuration. One part of the ship, and squadrons of fighters, would be able to engage enemy vessels, while the 2 other main ship segments would be tasked with transporting people from unsafe zones from 2 different orbital positions, hence greatly improving the range and expedience of any rescue operation.
the ship was heavily armed with 17 Type 12 pulse phaser arrays in standard operation mode, and 29 while in multi-vector assault mode, 10 pulse fire torpedo launchers in standard operation, with 14 in multi-vector assault mode, and had an integrated torpedo pod system which was comprised of 2 broadside launcher arrays. Defensively, it had regenerative shielding and 50 centimeters of ablative hull armor laid out over its heavy geranium to titanium composite hull, as well as parametallic plating. In addition, the entire ship was protected by a Class 5 regenerative subspace graviton field deflector shield.
Now, let's discuss the multi-vector design aspects a little.
Okay.
The Theurgy class shared similar design characteristics with the smaller Odyssey class, while introducing the functionality of the Prometheus class. The design included 3 hull sections, each of which could be reversibly separated: an arrowhead-shaped primary hull, a detachable secondary hull equipped with a fighter bay, and a deployable tertiary hull housing the primary warp engines. All 3 sections were equipped with independent warp-capable flight and combat capabilities in multi-vector assault mode. While other starship designs had similar capabilities, such as the Galaxy class with its saucer separation feature, generally the saucer section of such classes had no warp drive and very limited weaponry. The Theurgy spent the majority of its life in standard operational mode. The multi-vector assault mode, where the ship was divided into 3 parts, was typically reserved for battle situations or evacuations. All hulls or vectors were warp capable, and thus the multi-vector assault mode could be initiated during warp.
Now, let's look at each hull or vector individually, shall we? Vector 1, nicknamed the Helmet, had the role of being the fortified command ship housing the main bridge, as well as the flag bridge. It also holds the main computer core, housing the positronic brain of the ship's AI, more on that later. In order to safeguard the senior staff and any admirals that might be assigned to the flag bridge, a symbiotic tracked docking procedure was implemented. The design of the helmet vector was meant to accommodate for docking to any kind of Federation starship to escape battle, and this of course meant it could also dock directly to Vector 3, known as the Stallion.
This docking procedure would extend the Vector's 1's shields around the ship it was docking to as well. Then inside the ventral ring of the Vector, docking pylons would extend out to the ship's airlocks. The ventral tractor beam would adjust positioning of the vessel to ensure that as many airlocks as possible could be opened. The nacelle on top of the saucer, which in actuality is 2 sets of coils running side by side in one nacelle housing, could remain extended if so required to augment the field of the lower ship. In short, even if Vector 2 would be destroyed in battle, the fortified command ship of Vector 1 could still retreat at a much higher warp speed than the saucer alone could generate.
Interesting. Vector 2, referred to as the Sword, had the fighter assault bay and all fighters as well as the pod launching platforms, hence giving it the nickname the Sword. Since it was the Vector with the most teeth, in short, its role was to be a tactical strike carrier during battle. Vector 3, or the Stallion, is the star drive section of the vessel, which was the fastest one. As such, this section housed the majority of the crew's quarters, and while holding more than adequate tactical systems, it was primarily the fastest of the 3 vectors. With the most mass and interior space, this could also be considered the lifeboat of all 3 vectors as well.
Combined, the ship had a very impressive auxiliary craft complement consisting of 8 Type 9 shuttles, 8 Type 11 shuttles, 2 Danube-class runabouts, 1 Argo shuttle, 8 work bees, and 16 Mark III Valkyrie Federation warp fighter prototypes. This ship also had a captain's yacht with the dual purpose of being a scout ship, and it was called the USS Allegiant.
The computer systems on board were a mixture of isolinear and binaural-based processing. Each Theurgy class vessel carried a total of 4 independent computer cores, 1 located in the primary vector, 1 in the secondary vector, and 2 in the tertiary vector. The top level of the primary computer core housed the hardware for the vessel's artificial intelligence. Huge amounts of resources have been pooled into the development of a rudimentary shipwide AI. The idea being that while being limited in its accessibility to ship systems, it could still serve as well as any crew member, possessing first-hand knowledge about the vessel it was installed into.
Though, with the advancement in android sciences at the Daystrom Institute, based on the advanced neural net design of Noonien Soong and the technology of a positronic brain, Starfleet gave the go-ahead to develop an AI for ship-wide implementation. The Theurgy was the first Federation vessel outfitted with this new technology. The Daystrom Institution installed the AI's primary matrix into a positronic section of the main computer core of the Theurgy herself. To put it in simple terms, she has the hardware of Data's brain installed in the main computer core and an interpersonal interface projection functioning much like the Doctor did on Voyager. As a result, the ship began to refer to itself as Thea instead of the full name Theurgy.
The plot thickens.
Exactly.
Which leads us to the name of the ship itself, with the definition of Theurgy meaning: magic performed with the help of beneficial spirits, a supernatural intervention in human affairs, the performance of miracles, and a technique of persuading a god to do something. As explained by Octo himself, the Theurgy was named as it was because of its AI. She was the beneficial digital spirit, or soul, of the ship, a supernatural presence that was aiding the crew. The whole multi-vector assault mode feature, when seen in Starship episodes Message in a Bottle, is almost like a ritual too, where the computer AI coordinates with the crew and performs nothing short of miracles, in his opinion, by controlling 3 ships with just one simple voice command. Furthermore, the name has a phonetic resemblance to other popular Starship names like Discovery, Galaxy, Destiny, and Relativity.
A lot of thought put into that name. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's discuss Thea and the AI on this ship and how it works. The idea of having an AI installed aboard a Federation starship had been in development for some time. However, it soon spiraled out of control into a political debate. The idea of a self-aware, intelligent vessel with enough firepower to annihilate any target it chose to did not seem like a wise decision. However, the aid it could supply the crew with routine duties and overall operational streamlining did seem beneficial in the end.
It was decided that an extensive amount of hard wiring had to be done to keep the AI software from being able to access certain key systems in the unlikely event that an AI should become sentient and wish to take over the ship and kill everyone. It's not like we've seen that plot a couple of times in a couple of sci-fis. And just Data. He did it. Apart from the killing everyone bit, that'd be way more dramatic for the episode. That, in conjunction with the success of Voyager's EMH and eventually the ECH, eventually led to Starfleet's approval and go-ahead, which was given to install an AI on board a Federation starship for the very first time.
I got to jump in there, and some people might not know what ECH stands for. It's Emergency Command Hologram, which the Doctor had upgraded to, where he got command bars, captain's bars,
Yes.
And he could take command in an emergency situation. So people might not know, so I thought I'd mention it.
It's a great idea, well, especially when you know the Doctor as a basically sentient character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many holo emitters were installed shipwide to allow for a holographic projection of Thea to roam the ship and interact with crew members in human form. Eventually, Thea was born after many years of testing and refinements. Thea essentially became one of the crew, and after a few years after her commissioning, she was even supplied with a mobile emitter that had a wireless subspace synchronization link to her positronic brain, giving her the ability to leave herself and go on away missions. Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This whole concept of a Federation ship with AI, that in essence is part of the crew, sounds like something we need to dedicate a full episode to at some point. Maybe talking about the pros and cons of that. I think it'd be a great discussion.
Well, it's a debate. AI is not really a big thing in Star Trek per se. I mean, although theoretically, the computer in TNG is alive. I mean, there's things that it does that.
Well, like I said, it's a good discussion. We should save for another day. It's a very intriguing idea, but would probably take up too much time to discuss here and now. So
it's not about the ship itself, is it? It's about the stuff inside the ship. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move along to some of Theurgy's auxiliary craft and take a brief look at each. Firstly, the USS Allegiant NX 80978. This was the captain's yacht, although designed to serve as an advanced scout as well. When it was first decided that the Theurgy would serve as an experimental testbed for both a fighter squadron of new Mark III Valkyries, as well as a new system for computer interface, it was decided that why not? Let's integrate and test the newest experimental version of the Arrow Wing series of scouting vessels as well. This was an augmented version of the Talon-class Scout, referred to as Project Manta by the Advanced Starship Design Bureau.
Commissioned at the same year as the Theurgy, the vessel had a length of 26 metres, height of 8 metres, and a width of 25 metres, with a standard crew of 5 being able to operate with only a single pilot, as well as transport up to at least 20 personnel. This is one versatile craft. It is capable of warp 7.5 or emergency warp of 8.56 for 2 hours. Standard cruising speed is warp 5.2, and it's armed with 2 Type U pulse fire cannons, 4 Type 12 phase arrays, and 3 Mark 27 micro-torpedo launchers, 2 fore and 1 aft. It utilises an LF-9X4 compact warp drive and has a transport platform capable of transporting 5 people at once. It also has a 2-deck configuration and is equipped with a Tetrion pulse sensor probe.
But now let's move on to the experimental AC-409 Mark III Valkyrie Fighters. Now these probably deserve an episode on their own, but we will just give you their basic information here and now. As mentioned, these are experimental prototype fighters and comprise the Lone Wolf Fighter Squadron of the Theurgy. Designed to be space superiority craft, their usual mission parameters would include planetary defense, carrier-based attack missions, patrol, and reconnaissance.
Constructed at the Antares shipyards, they were small but powerful, measuring at 20.5 metres long, 3.5 metres high, and 13.9 metres wide. While having a relatively low maximum and standard warp speeds of warp 7.6 and 5.8 respectively, it did have the advantage of a wide array of secondary weaponry, excellent hull armour, and shielding, a very impressive sensor array, as well as being able to dish out as much pounding as it could take. Operated by only one pilot, its standard combat speed was 970 kilometers per second.
Tactical specs included 2 Type U forward-facing phaser cannons, 4 Type 11 phaser arrays, 2 fore and 2 aft, retractable Type 1 Tetryon pulse phase cannon, and 2 Mark 27 micro-torpedo launchers capable of firing 24 50-centimeter micro-torpedoes each. The fighter is powered by a twin tandem quantite reactor core, a standard warp drive propulsion system, and twin tandem ITD 900 series Class 5 impulse drive units. It is also extremely maneuverable, utilizing a pulsed Trennis Mark IV RCS thruster assembly, a truly maneuverable and dangerous fighter in tight combat situations.
But as we stated, this has so much information that I think it might deserve an episode on its own at some point. Actually, the main ship itself and all auxiliary craft, including this fighter, are so well detailed and laid out by Actor that we encourage you to all check out the links in the description below and see all the details for yourself. This has been a pretty detailed Trekyards original, and so much care and attention has been put in to ship design, specs and history. We couldn't cover it all, but we really tried, and we hope it's interesting to you all. A lot of just Trek crammed into this Trekyards.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail with this one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a huge pleasure to cover this ship and share it with you all here. Working with Actor has been awesome. As he has put so much time and thought into this design. It's truly an enjoyable experience to work on this episode. The ship is a great addition to not only Star Trek lore as a whole, but with its ties into Star Trek Online, it makes it something truly special. So a big thanks to Adam Eel for his work on the Odyssey class as well, which inspired the creativity and passion that was put into this ship. The Star Trek community never ceases to amaze me with its creativity and desire to add to the very rich tapestry that is Star Trek. So thanks again to Actor as well for bringing this new ship to life. It's absolutely fantastic.
And that is the end of the script. Like I said, very, very fact-based, very full-on. Wow, hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Yeah.
Absolutely. So hope you did. If you did, like this video, click the like button, because why not? Because it helps us out and it helps you out. I don't know how it helps you out, but it helps us out. But anyway, and don't forget to subscribe. If the subscribe button is red, that means it's a red alert. You have not subscribed to our channel, you need to do so immediately, so click that, and don't forget the little bell notification so you get notified every time we upload, because we always have cool stuff coming out all the time.
And this is a great example of a Trekyards original format. We offer the service for anyone that has a ship design, either in the early concept phases, as Octal had a very finalized design. You email us at trekyards@hotmail.com. Let us know what you're interested in. We have different packages for what sort of show. It's all donation based, so you help support Trekyards, and we do a great episode for your ship and get it out there to our amazing audience. And you guys get to comment and see what you think and get new Trek. It's a great way of doing it. So if you want a Trekyards original or are interested, email us at trekyards@hotmail.com. If you want to help the show just in a general way, you can go 2 great ways. Either go to Patreon, which is a monthly donation scheme, kind of like a Netflix or Hulu, that sort of stuff. You donate a little bit each and every month. Goes towards the production of the show, keep the lights on, make sure we can keep delivering all the great shows each week, or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. If you think we deserve a tip or a thank you, whatever, throw a little bit our way, and we always appreciate even the littlest amount.
That's right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please come back and check out more stuff. There's more originals out there we've done, and they've been fantastic, and I love doing them because I love learning about new ships. So anyways, thank you to everyone involved. Thank you, Octor. You did a fantastic job on the ship. Thank you, Samuel, for joining me today, as always. Thank you to all you guys for coming back to watch, and thank you to me for being me, because I'm awesome.
Hell of a script to write, Stuart. Hell of a script to write.
Anyway, guys, hope to see you next time. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Kings.
And we'll see you guys in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.